complaint was that it's starting to shake when it goes downhill. It's just this front wheel drive is kind of hard to see. But when you get that like shaking and shuddering going on, your rotors have basically warped. So it's usually not a tire balance issue as much as it's going to be a brake rotor warp issue. And what I mean by that is your rotor's round, obviously, and when you're moving, this is your brake caliper and your brake pad. And what happens is when you press hard down on your brake pads are going to heat up, heating the rotor up. But if you're going downhill, like up here in the Pocono Mountains, we have hills everywhere, what happens is that you concentrate all your heat here. So when you're braking, your brake pads heat up going downhill. You get to a stop sign or a stoplight, and what happens is you completely stop. Now you have all your heat here on your brake pads. Your rotor on this side, there is nothing going on. So if you kind of look on this side, you can see better. So you got your rotor, you got your brake pads. So all your heat has built up here braking on your brake pads. And then when you come to a complete stop, you've concentrated all your heat on this section of your rotor. This side of your rotor cools down. This side remains hot. So what happens is your rotor will actually warp. So when you're going to stop the next time, you're going to get this front end shaking. So if you're driving down the highway and you're going 55, 60 miles an hour, sometimes faster, and your car drives smooth and straight, that's not an alignment issue. If you start braking and you get a lot of wheel shake, that is a roped rotor issue. And basically, again, how it happens is you aggressively stop from going downhill. You concentrate your heat here. There's no heat here. This side of your rotor cools down faster, and then you get a warp in your rotor, and that's what causes your steering wheel or your front end to shake when you're braking. Mainly because rotors don't have an opportunity to cool down because it's one solid piece. They have a vent here on the side, but that's usually not enough. And honestly, brake rotors, you get different metals. If you buy a cheaper rotor, you're going to get a cheaper metal on your rotor, and that is basically going to warp a lot faster than your normal, under normal braking or like a high concentrated downhill brake. If you have better metal, it's going to warp less because you have it's a better metal compound that they use. But anyway, so if that's what you're experiencing, it may or may not be an alignment issue, but more importantly, it's probably due to aggressive heavy braking or heavy braking from going downhill. Hopefully that explains why you get that wheel shake when you brake. Anyway, Brian from Garage Hall, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Be safe out there.